What's up, Bulldogs? I think there's some confusion as to where I stand on a lot of issues. I think a lot of people are confused. They're like, man, is this guy a feminist? Oh, wait a minute. Is he an Andrew Tate supporter? Is he a tradcon? What is John? What breed is he? What he's saying this thing, but then he said this thing. Is his wife controlling him? Is there something going on here? What is it? It doesn't make any sense to me, right? I get it. I totally get it. I get it. If I were you, I would probably think the same thing. But there's a couple of things I want to talk about in this video that I think are vitally important, especially if you're in your 20s. You need to learn these things. I promise you, it's going to be really, really important. So I hope you stick around. Well, first of all, what am I? I've always been the same. I know a lot of people are like, Don, you changed, man. You changed. Yeah, I did change. I transformed my life many times. I reinvented myself many times. Reinvented my identity. But the one thing that I have always been against has been the same. It doesn't matter if I was going out and picking up girls or if I'm married. It doesn't matter. It's the same. All right, and you know what it is? It's being against the victim mindset. That's what Bulldog Mindset was from the beginning. And so if you're confused about where I stand on an issue and why I would not like passport bros, right? But also not like feminism and a lot of these other kind of issues that come up here, right? Why I don't like name calling and mudslinging and those things. Is it because those are things they're the victim mindset. Do you understand? Do you understand that that's what I'm always going to be against? And so it doesn't matter if you're a man or a woman. It doesn't matter if you're a woman who is saying, "Oh, men have oppressed us, the patriarchy, boo-hoo. We don't make as much money. It's unfair. Whatever. Boo-hoo." Your victim mindset. I can't empathize with you. Sorry, you have the victim mindset. Okay? If you're a man and you're like, "Oh, Western women are so bad and oh, it's all ruined and whatever, like they just want this and they want to date serial killers and they have to have such high standards for men and it's so hard and they're so corrupted and they're so feminist." Victim mindset. Like, do you understand that it's the same exact damn thing? Like, you are literally, if you have that mindset, a male feminist. Like the anti-feminist, the exact opposite, but the same, right? You're just a victim. Feminist women are victim mindset. Men that preach the opposite, right? That preach that women are bad and Western, and complain and whine. You're the same thing, victim mindset. So that's where I always stand, is against the victim mindset. That's why nobody likes me. That's why in the quote manosphere, everybody hates me. Because I'm not going to indulge the victim mindset. Because I'm not going to... The other thing I'm not going to do, which again, I know this is confusing because, and this is the thing that really you need to pay attention to if you're young right now. The world wasn't always like this. I promise you, the world wasn't always such that there were only two sides and the other side was evil always. Now, I don't care if you're a Democrat or Republican. I mean, you should be a libertarian, but I'll forgive you. I don't really care, because if you're a Democrat, you hate Republicans. Why? Because they're full of hatred. Hate the people that hate, right? Trump's an idiot, whatever. All this stuff, right? Okay. And if you are a Republican, you hate the Democrats because they're the ones who are actually full of hate. Can't stand them, right? Now again, I tend to agree more with your viewpoint, but there are certain things that I don't, right? And so the thing is that whatever it is, if you're a man, okay, then you hate women. If you're a woman, you hate men. Again, if you're for masculinity, then you're against women, right? It's like if you're for, feminine empowerment, then you're against men. It's like there's always a side to it, right? In the Middle East, you got to pick a side there too, right? Because it can't be both. There can't be some tragedies, some wrongs on both sides. It can't be like that. It's got to be one or the other, because you're a pawn. You are a pawn in a game that's being played. And that's what maybe you don't realize. And you don't want to be that pawn. That's why, look, that's why it's hard to identify. That's why some of you guys are getting annoyed with me. You're like, John, what's going on? Like, where is the Bulldog Mindset? It's because you subscribe to some ideology. It wasn't ever my ideology. Mine has always been against the victim mindset. It's just that the stuff that I was saying aligned with the things that you believed at the time, with some group that you belonged to. And now that it appears that I'm not agreeing with party lines, you can't handle it. You don't like it. And again, I'm not trying to knock you. I'm just trying to help you to understand that the world wasn't always like this. It wasn't always divided into two factions for every single issue. It wasn't. And it still isn't, in the sense that it doesn't actually work that way. Do you really think that one side, whatever side you're on, has it all figured out, they got it all right, and everyone else has got it wrong? Do you really think that is the case? And do you think that the people on the other side don't think the same exact thing? You understand what I'm saying? But what fuels all this? What fuels all this is the victim mindset, because the victim mindset is the antithesis of free thinking. And that's why, honestly, I am a libertarian, but it's not really a political denomination if you understand it. It's a philosophy, just like Stoicism is. And they're the same, essentially. You should read some books, some good books. How I Found Freedom in a Free World, Harry Brown. Okay? John Stuart Mill, On Liberty. His essay on that, that's good. But you have to understand that right now, if you choose to accept this dichotomy, this false dichotomy, if you really think this is about Kamala or Trump, you're going to be a puppet, and your life is not going to be yours. 90% of what you know about the world, about events, you have heard on social media. Tell me it's not true. It is true. Who controls those things? Again, I'm not trying to create a conspiracy theory here, but understand that everything has become into this dichotomy, and the only escape from it is to get rid of the victim mindset, because you cannot fall into the dichotomy, this false dichotomy, unless you have the victim mindset, because you are controlled because of the victim mindset. Because the way to control people is to tell them, one, it's not their fault, and two, find them an enemy. That's it. You look at it, you can see that you are controlled. Very simple. Because you're saying, it's not my fault, and here's the enemy, right? Think about it, right? What's going to happen when I make this video is there's going to be a bunch of comments that are going to be exactly proving my point. It happens every time. Can't help yourself. But those of you that can, I want you to think about what I'm saying. Maybe watch the video more than once. Maybe share this with a friend, right? Because if you can realize what you're doing, if you can realize where you are, if you can realize how much of the victim mindset that you actually have, then you can stop doing it. You can get rid of it, right? You can start actually thinking for yourself. You think you're thinking for yourself, but you're not, right? Because you're like, okay, well, I put the equation together. I solved the problem. There was 2 + 2, and I came up with 4. They didn't tell me 4. I saw this and this, and I made 4. So stupid. You don't think that they put 2 and 2 such a simple equation for you to discover for, so you would think it's your own idea? Do you think that people that are using you as a pawn, that are trying to control you as a puppet, you think they're dumb? You think they haven't done this before? You think they don't know what they're doing? Of course they know what they're doing. Of course you don't think you're controlled. Do you not get it? Of course you don't suspect it. Of course everyone else is the puppet. Everyone else is the sheep. You're the sheep. Think about it. You watch the news. You believe there is a good side and a bad side. Wow. Amazing. Amazing. But like I said, if you're young, you need to listen to this message, because you gotta really start thinking for yourself. I mean, most of the population is controlled right now. But there is freedom for those who want it. You have freedom. You just don't know it, because you're trapped. You're trapped into this mindset, right? And here's the reason why this mindset, the victim mindset, which it is so destructive to you. The biggest reason is this, is because it limits your options. It actually enslaves you, because you're giving up your sovereignty. You're giving up your ability to choose and to make decisions, because you feel like it's outside of your control. You have been led to believe this. Again, if I pick on the angry guys on the internet, right? Whatever you want to call them. I'm not even going to say the names of stupid pills, and like, it's just so ridiculous. Okay, it's ironic that the idea is like waking up and again, was I part of this ideology? Yeah, before it became perverted, before it became something that it's not. The idea of this ideology was to understand reality, right? To actually not have the victim mindset, to objectively face it, to say, okay, this is how women act, and that's okay. Now I understand how to play this game. Not to judge it. Not to judge it. Right? It's so dumb when you judge the way that people are playing a game, that you're playing against them and telling them the ways that they're messing up the game. Just let them. You don't need to judge them. Their moves are great moves. They're moves that help you win. But if I take that as an example, that ideology, let's say as perverted as it's become, you can see how much of the victim mindset is there, because it's about blame. It's about how women are bad, women are wrong, all of this. It's not my fault, it's their fault, it's this society, I need to go to another country, right? This is where this comes from. This mentality comes from. It's victim mindset. If you think it's someone else's fault, if you're blaming your life circumstances. Now, again, it doesn't mean you can't make a valid assessment of the situation, right? I have opinions. I know that a lot of women are misguided today, to put it simply. That's the culture. I know that a lot of women are doing dumb things. Can't be trusted. That's fine. Okay? But I'm not upset about it, because it doesn't matter, because I care about me and what I can do. And you see, the thing about it is that when you start to blame women, you start to blame society, you start to blame feminism, you start to blame all these things, right? So to call guys names on the internet because they don't conform to your stupidity, what happens? You don't have very many options, you don't have very many choices. Because let's say that you fully buy into this ideology and you believe that the problems, the reason why you are not successful with women the way that you'd want to be, whatever that is because Western women are broken, they're good for nothing, they're liars, they're cheats, whatever, there's no fixing them, it's hopeless, right? They have too high body counts and all of those things, they can't pair bond anymore, and a million other stats. They initiate 90% of divorces. The court system is biased towards women. Women just want to collect the payday. They only want 6 foot tall, 6-pack abs, 6 figures. They only care about money. I could list forever all of these beliefs that you have, and you have some subset of these beliefs. Well, do you understand how that would restrict you? and make it so that there's not much you can do about the situation. And if you continue to hold on to those beliefs, then your moves in the game are very limited, because why make a move that you know has no effect, right? But if you let go of the victim mindset, if you let go of these beliefs that are not helpful to you and are not actually, some of them are true, but a lot of them are not actually true. Not in all cases, at least, right? You can make some generalizations. Then it opens up a whole lot of options for you, a lot of different things you could try and do that you didn't have as options before. The other thing that it does to you when you've got these ideologies and this victim mindset is that you have to toe the line as well, or you're going to be sacrificed. Because when you join the group, right, and that's where you get your validation collectively, you're expected to fit into the norms of the group. You can't question it. If you do, you're going to get expelled from the group. You're going to get made fun of by the group. So it's holding you there as well. You understand what I'm saying here? Again, I'm not saying you are wrong. I'm not saying that. Okay? There's some things that you think that are right. You just don't know which ones they are. That's the problem. Because you've got the victim mindset and you're also viewing it the wrong way, right? You can have the same fact and be wrong about it, while someone else says the same fact and they're right about it, right? I'll give you an example, right? If someone says women initiate 90% of divorces, okay? If you use that fact in order to say that you should never get married and women are horrible and you can't trust women and it's too big of a risk and all of these victim mindset things, you're wrong. Okay, the fact is right, but you are wrong. If you use that fact to say that, to ask the question, why is that the case? Wonder what's going on, and how can I prevent that from happening to me? Yeah, what is the actual situation behind that, so that I understand the psychology going on, and then I can counteract that psychology. Now you're right. You understand what I'm saying? Again, it's not quite that simple, but the point is that when you have a set of beliefs that's the absolute truth, that's unchangeable. And again, you may have heard me say this before, right? You know, if you really want some good advice, it's do not hold beliefs, hold probabilities of belief, right? There's some percentage, whatever it is that I quote believe, I don't believe it 100%. There's some percentage of me that says, you know, hey, that I'm wrong. Or that it's the other way. It's not even that I'm wrong, because I don't have to take ownership of it, right? I just need a pretty good approximation of what is right, percentage-wise, and I'll do pretty well. The problem is when I hold on to beliefs, and I call them beliefs, now I can't change them because it's a sacrifice, it's an attack on my character or my identity. Because I can't be wrong. We don't like being wrong, right? So I said you're not wrong. You just got a lot of stuff to work through. And you might be like, oh, well, John, you know, I've heard too many stories, you know, whatever, you've just gone soft and you don't get it anymore, you don't understand. No, I mean, as far as the literature goes, as far as I understand it all, I've seen it all. Believe me, I know the stories. I know the guys that made up the statistics that you've been repeating. I know them personally. Okay. So what I'm saying is I do understand it, right? But my understanding is a nuanced understanding. I understand a little bit more than just some facts that someone said that might not even really be facts, a lot of them, honestly. Like I've put it into practice. I have experience it. I've coached guys. I've worked with men and women. Okay? That's where I'm drawing my knowledge from. But most important thing about me, right, is that I'm not for the victim mindset. So it doesn't matter what political spectrum, it doesn't matter what ideology that you're subscribing to right now. If you are espousing ideas that are victim mindset ideas, I'm not with you. I don't agree with you. I can't help you. I can't support you in that. That's what I'm always going to be against. Always. So if you just look, and you could check my history, you could check my record, and look at the things that I'm saying, the only things that I'm really against our victim mindset. That's it. That's why some of these videos, they rub you the wrong way. Some of you feel like John's gotten soft. No. I'm just against the victim mindset, right? There's some, I don't even use the acronyms. But anyway, I don't imagine that, that this solves the problem, because, I think that the majority of people that watch this video, you can still think the same way that you did before, but maybe I put a little chink in your armor, and you start to realize, the moment that you think maybe I could be the sheep, that's the moment of enlightenment. That's it right there. That's that moment. Because we've all been sheep. I've been sheep. We've all been sheep. The question is, can you recognize how you've been a sheep, and maybe in what ways that you still are? We're all susceptible to that. But the more that you can become aware of this, and the more that you can become aware of where you're placing the blame and taking away your own accountability and your own sovereignty by having the victim mindset, the better your life is, because the more options, the more freedom that you're going to have. Really important stuff. See you next time.